minutes before you got there, it was functioning, right? Like people were thriving in this place, and that's just a place that we've never been before in Destiny.
Absolutely, you guys killed it with the design. And did I see this correctly? Are we getting destructible environments in the game?
So the game is like all about like blockbuster action, you know, big fun sequences there. And yeah, there's definitely like some locations, some places where there's gonna be a lot of like things blowing up, a lot of visual flair. It's not like the kind of destructible, like dynamic destructible stuff where you're like gonna blow like a new path in the level and be able to like take a different route than you thought you could. But it really adds a lot to the mood and stuff to have like these things blowing up all over the place. It really complements the theme of the release.
Yeah, I think for us it's about, you know, really highlighting some of those moments, right? You're gonna place the rally banner down and just a sea of Cabal or Vex is gonna pour out, and then suddenly glass is flying everywhere and brands are going, right? And that's that moment that we want. And then we're like, okay, yeah, I think I earned that, you know, those 2 treasure chests for my encounter there. I'll be on my way.
After all the explosions.
Yeah.
Right.
I mean, that's the trick, right? Like it's a war zone, right? Like, I know we've been at war and I know we've been protecting the last city, but to Joe's point, we just spent, you know, the last year in the swamp kind of playing detective. And this is, the battle is there, it's huge, it's larger than life. So there's things blowing up, there's the constant struggle. It's just a very different vibe. Super excited for the action of it.
Who doesn't like blowing stuff up? I do. So we talked about a little bit. Tell us more about who we're going to be encountering on Neptune. Who are we fighting? We saw some Cabal.
Yeah, I mean, I think the big thing is, you know, the Witness has pulled in and sent Calus, right? You probably saw that concept of Calus's, you know, in classic style, the big pyramid ship with his own sort of effigy crowned on it. And so there's going to be a lot of Cabal, and then there's also this sort of Vex undercurrent threat of Neomuna as well, and so that's an interesting thing that players will sort of discover, you know, what they've been dealing with for the past. But on top of that, I mean, you know, Calus is back, loaded up, really as a disciple of the Witness, and so
Is it really him?
I could say with like 97% certainty. It's like Calus and not a robot.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
Definitely probably.
But yeah, it's so cool because you know, we've been seeing like a ton of stuff going on with like Kayatal and stuff in the past few seasons and things, and we're starting to explore like more of the backstory of like the Cabal, find out more about them as a combatant race. It's just really exciting to see that happening, like the Destiny universe continuing to grow, and Calus, like we're gonna find out like why he's, you know, signed on with the Witness. What does he want? What does he hope to gain?
Yeah, but speaking of which, though, but like, even though it's 97% Calus, and it's the Cabal, but it's not the Cabal we know, right? Like, as becoming a disciple, Calus got some upgrades. So like, there's a different Cabal we're going to be fighting. There's different flavors to it.
and I think the biggest, right, you know, upgrade, it's not just the Cabal. There's another unit of the pyramid coming with the Cabal, right? And the Witness said, hey, you're going to need some help. And that's what we call this the Tormentor, right?
Tormentors. Those things look terrifying. What can you tell me about the Tormentors? I'm excited to go up against these guys.
They are terrifying.
They are terrifying.
But
We
yeah.
can tell you that. Yeah, so the Tormentors are a new pyramid unit that will be joining the Cabal and the forces of the Witness this time around. And they're basically bosses in the battle arenas that you will encounter throughout Neomuna. They are, as you said, terrifying to fight against. They have different phases, and they're really like, scary mini bosses.
Yeah, it's. I mean, we called them like terrifying Grim Reapers, and these things are awesome because they're like the first like pyramid units that are like in the core combatant sandbox now. That you know, so that they're gonna anchor like a lot of tough encounters, and they have a bunch of different ways they can hit you, right? They have like this like side thing, we called them, you know, like I said, our terrifying Grim Reapers. So they throw these like side like projectiles at you. They can rush in and like, you know, like grab you and stuff. And it's just like, it's a completely different experience fighting them. It's a really, really fun kind of like.
They're living up to their name.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Can't wait to get tormented by some tormentors.
I like how terrifying Grim Reaper was the throwaway term. Like, that's not scary. Like, that's scary now.
This is Grim Reaper, but worse. And we also have another new character type. What are we calling these Cloud Striders? What can we say about these guys? Are they friend, foe?
Yeah. A little background on the story of Neomuna. So during the first collapse, there was basically a ship that was able to escape, and that's how the society in Neptune started, and how Neomuna as a city came to be. They basically have been preparing all these years to avoid a second collapse and make sure that all their citizens are safe. As part of that, there is this class of people who actually are volunteers. And it's a very different paradigm from what we know as the Guardians. The Guardians are basically chosen by the Traveler to defend humanity. With the Cloud Striders, they actually volunteer to go through a bunch of cyber enhancements and really be ready to protect the citizens in the city. And so that's a very heroic thing to do. And we're going to be able to discover more of their story and how they came to be. But also it comes with a cost. Like, they actually shortened their lifespan for about a decade as they are Cloud Striders. And so you basically have two at a time, one who's mentoring the next one, and we're going to see some of those things play out in Lightfall.
Yeah. What I sort of love about the Cloud Striders is they sort of form this mirror for the Guardian in a bunch of ways. You know, we think of Guardians as the only heroes for the solar system, but the people of Neptune have come up with a different way. And you know, you take yourself as a Guardian, you know, this 6-foot mystic hero, and then you stand next to one of the Cloud Striders, and you're like, oh,
I'm small.
Yeah, and every one of the Cloud Striders looks like they're hitting the gym, you know, morning, noon, and night, and they have a very different approach to combat maybe than our sort of like tactical view or mystic powerful view. They're all force all the time.
Yeah, it's a beautiful juxtaposition, right? Like, you have the Guardians, as Kat said, that were chosen, like, you know, chosen for immortality but still for defense and protection, versus these Cloud Striders that opt in to shorten their own life, the antithesis of immortality, to sacrifice their mortality also to defend. And it's interesting to see, like, to explore how those two different societies play out and how they approach battle and how they approach combat. It's going to be really awesome to see it play out.
That's awesome. So speaking of combat, we have a new energy type, Strand. Tell me everything about Strand. I want all the details.
There's a grapple. What else do you want?
I mean, it's green. You saw it was green. Like,
It's green. There you have it.
That's the bulk of it.
Yeah, I think one of the interesting things for Strand, you know, is it's the first power where your Guardian is the first person to ever encounter this. It's sort of a thing that you're learning about, and you have mentors that are helping you learn more about it, but you're really on the front lines of this sort of new darkness power, and what does it mean, and then I think how that gets, you know, translated to the gameplay is this high mobility. We really love the thought of the cosmic web, right? Behind all of us, there's this web that connects everything, and Strand is about touching into that web, and that's why grapple can grapple anywhere, right? You don't need a point. Yes. The web is everywhere. You find the web and pull it towards you, and how the different classes sort of, you know, make this web come to life, I think is going to be really interesting for our players to discover over the next few months as we start talking more about it.
Absolutely.
And it's been something that we've been exploring on throughout the whole campaign, is also your Guardian's journey in discovering Strand, as Joe was saying, and how we can learn and utilize this new darkness power is part of the story that we're gonna go through with players. And so it's been really cool. As a Titan, I'm very excited about doing the Titan thing and actually hold Strand and have like a whole AOE.
What's with all the punching?
Whoa, they're claws now. They're grafted on.
Excuse me.
This is a refined punching. So yeah, super excited about Strand, and I think one thing that I really want to make sure that we highlight is what Joe said. Like, you don't need a grapple point to use the grapple. Like, you can actually grapple onto anything, the air or whatever you want, because we are using this cosmic web that permeates the world.
Yeah. That's really good for me, because as a hunter who regularly overextends himself into like every fight and is just like after 2 seconds like, I gotta get out of here, that grapple has saved my life a lot of times.
Sweet. Can't wait to get my hands on the grapple. We also talked about the legendary campaign in the showcase. Is there anything new to the legendary campaign coming, or can we expect some of the classic rewards that we got last time with the getting us raid ready and things like that?
Yeah, I think from a reward side, we're following a really similar story. I think we're going to give you the awesome, gear at the end of the campaign to get you up in that powerful band. We're going to let you choose one of the new exotics. This time, we're making sure they have high stat rolls on them. But in addition, because you're unlocking strand during all this, we're also going to give you a little bit of extra strand currency. So if you do the legendary campaign, you're going to be able to earn 1 extra fragment right off the bat. But I think the differences really start to come less in the rewards and more in the campaign itself. If you look at the Witch Queen and what we did in the campaign of the Witch Queen,
Okay.
I sort of like to compare that to the Corrupted Strike,
I
right?
like
There's
that.
like a little bit of nuance, it's a little bit creepy, there's some mechanics going on, and you got to play with a little finesse, right? Each thing is a little bit surprising. Really what we're doing in Lightfall is like the Proving Ground Strike, right? You're like, hey, you want to shoot a lot of people, right? Like, do you want to get in there and fight just a
Yes.
ton of Cabal? I think the thing, we're going to have players go through the Legendary campaign, and when you hit that wipe screen on an encounter, sometimes you see the report, and you're like, whoa, how many? Did
I do that?
Yeah.
You're Joe, not many.
Oh, shots fired.
I mean, Legendary campaign has been such a joy to to bring into the Destiny
Best thing they've
universe
ever
the
added
past
was
couple of
Legendary
releases.
campaign.
Just getting back to that
Swear to God.
that smart combat that you like you have to make choices. You can't just be James and rush in and then try and grapple your way out of trouble. You have to actually think about where you're going to stand, where you're going to aim, what your loadout is. How are you kitted out for this fight? And to see the designers at Bungie just spend so much time thinking about all the different dimensions of the encounter, all the different ways that a player can pick it apart, and the different ways that they want players to be able to make progress in it or push back on the players. There's just so much loving handcrafted work that goes into designing these encounters. It's just been so much fun to watch.
And honestly, just because I'm probably I'm definitely the most recent person to Bungie, I think seeing that, what James is just saying about the love that goes into crafting all these experiences has been absolutely just fascinating and just endearing, honestly. As a huge Destiny fan, and now having the privilege of honestly working on my absolute favorite game in the world, it's amazing to see how it all comes together. And sorry, I'm gonna stop or I'm gonna get emotional. Go.
Good.
Sure. Taylor, let's. What are you thinking about the strand abilities? What are you excited for in Lightfall? What are you thinking you want to jump into?
I feel like most, except for James, we're all Titans here, right? No?
Warlock.
Wow.
No.
Okay. You know
Listen,
what?
I've seen, there has to be.
I think we're the only Titans, really.
I think the biggest problem with being able to see the internal stuff is you see all the armor sets really early, and then you're like, okay, what class am I playing this time?
Yeah. Especially the aesthetic. That is always all about the fashion and how your abilities will kind of mesh with. I'm all about aesthetic fashion, so it's nice to kind of fit that in with your subclasses.
Well, fashion is the real end game, right?
Oh yeah.
Of course, everyone that works at Bungie is a fucking Titan.
We love fashion. We love Destiny. We don't want it to end, but we've heard talk about the end of this light and dark saga. What does that mean? Is Destiny going away?
No, Destiny's not going anywhere. I think the easiest way to think about the end of the Light and Dark Saga is the end of a chapter in a much longer tale, a much longer book or series of books or something like that. This is a great moment in time in the history of Destiny and in the history of the world, and we want to tell it right, and we want to have a satisfying conclusion, but a conclusion to that chapter, not the story of Destiny.
I think for a long time, we've been setting up this, we've got this big white ball in the sky, the Traveler, and we've got these big creepy pyramids coming from space. And we want to make sure that we're always making good on those stories, right? We say, hey, you've been waiting for this. We're going to give it to you. And then we're going to go to a next chapter, and we're going to be able to move beyond that in the Destiny universe and talk about new, exciting ideas.
Awesome. So Destiny is forever. You know what else is forever? Fortnite. Epic?
Facts.
What's going on?
I mean, like, why wouldn't we want to be on Epic Game Store?
Yeah.
Right. I mean, one of the key pillars of Destiny that our ambitious goal that we try to hold ourselves to is we want to be able to play this game anywhere. Right, like, and just Epic Game Store is such a huge step in that direction. There's so many amazing gamers that are over there on that platform, and we're big fans of Epic. We're big fans of all those games. We're super excited today to be able to bring them, like, just bring Destiny to all those players who may not have experienced it before. You know, and also worth mentioning, if you do go on Epic Game Store today and sign up, you do get the 30th anniversary pack that we launched last year for free.
Wow.
Forever.
Wow. I'm super excited to see all the collaborations, Epic, Fortnite, Fall Guys, all that. But before we get into that, there's some other things, very exciting things that the community's been asking for a long time. LFG's coming into the game. You finally did it. Give me the story behind this.
Yeah, I mean, Denjin just talked about it, how important it is for us, for the Destiny 2 team, to make sure that Destiny is like a social game and a game that like it's so easy to jump in and just like either play with your friends or find new friends to play with, right? And so LFG is really a step in that direction. And so making sure that we have a really good system in-game where you can jump into your favorite raid if your clan is not available for some reason, or you're actually looking for a clan, I think is going to bring a lot of those experiences to way more people than it currently does. And so it's super exciting that we'll be able to bring that in next year.
I think one of the most exciting things about LFG is the way the team is approaching it, right? And they want to make sure we have the right foundation because we want a really stellar LFG tool in Destiny. And so, you know, what's coming first with Lightfall is this thing we call Guardian Ranks. And Guardian Ranks for us it's this journey from the absolute new light player all the way to a Grandmaster like PvE All-Star. And you can go through these ranks and it'll show you, hey, here's what you need to do next. Oh, you
Son of a bitch.
That. You should try some of this stuff. You should try learning about build crafting. Okay, you should try getting into dungeons. You should try getting into a little bit harder strikes. And we think of that as really as the base for LFG, because when you want to go to LFG, you want to know that the people that you're looking to build your raid team with, your dungeon team with, your trial team with, you want to know they're ready, right? And so Guardian Ranks really is this thing that you can say like, hey, I'm ready.
Here
like
we go.
I've done all the stuff that shows I'm ready for the raid.
Stats.
Yeah,
Oh,
and
connect me,
I
baby,
think
connect me.
between Guardian Ranks and accommodations, we not only have the tools that are hopefully going to say, hey, I know I can build a good raid team in this tool. We also have encouraging people to go down and say, hey, let's take this person on their first raid, right? Let's bring them up. Let's get them up to the next level of Guardian Ranks. And so I'm really excited about how the social team is addressing all these
Let me
things.
see if anyone else is
That's
in.
really important. We love the
Wright State University offers degree programs that prepare you for the best jobs out there.
You said I like the One Piece wallpaper. Thank you, Jason. I appreciate that. Thank you. To my fellow One Piece fans out there, we have a pirate season. Maybe we'll get some hockey powers. Maybe.
Huh.
The real ones will know. Did I really just close the task manager and not my... Guys, I'm actually trash at the game of life. Pirate season with One Piece. They did. Meta, they did. Yo, S Dawn, thank you for the sub. Randall, thank you for the sub. Mass, thank you for the sub. Thank you guys, I appreciate it. Said One Piece and Destiny, guys. At this point, I don't. You know, nothing will ever surprise me again. Like if anybody ever comes in here and is gonna be like, oh, are you surprised that this happened in Final Shape? Or are you surprised that this happened? Or are you surprised that this happened? I don't know if I'll ever be surprised again after today. Like, because like I just genuinely like am mind blown of today, to be honest. Like even with like the leaks and stuff, I'm like still mind blown. As crazy as that is. Randall, thank you for the sub. Thank you again, I appreciate it. To anybody who's new today, if this is your first time in stream today, I hope you'll say hello. Would love to greet you. I appreciate you guys being here more than you know. Said it's on Steam. Well, you know what that means. It means we can get it and download it. Y'all know what that means. That looks like a Destiny update I got, guys. Look at that. That looks like an